WNST, it's House in Baltimore, and here this week, and my old pal from Sporting News Radio, One-on-One Sports Flash, joins us here. We bunked together in Northbrook, Illinois for a couple of years. Back at the turn of the century, Rick Ballou then escaped to a life of sunshine and Red Sox championships down in Jacksonville, Florida. He's a longtime sports talk show host there now, 2 decades at 92.5, as well as at 1010XL, and you can follow his journey out on Twitter at Ballou1010XL. We welcome Rick Ballou, one of our defending champions, back, and hopefully if things go perfectly, we'll be downing pints of ale together somewhere over on the other side of the water. Ballou, what's going on? This old hat for you, right? I mean, you guys go over there every year, so this is just another roadie, right?
Yeah, you know, it's a roadie, but it's considered a home game. I've always loved that because after the 9.5 hour trip, the Jags are in New York / New Jersey against the Jets, and then at Pittsburgh. And the feeling is that's only 2 in a row. I don't know about you, but if I'm spending 9+ hours in a plane, that's a road trip. But yeah, this will be the 5th straight year the Jags have done it. I get to go over there yearly, and it's always a fun trip. But I think logistics have something to do with it. I think the intangibles for guys who've never gone before, I don't care how normal they try to make it as far as the time change, getting back to a regular routine. I think it does create a little bit of havoc on these players. I mean, we see it enough going East Coast to West Coast, a 3-hour change. But when you have this type of change in London, it can have an effect on some players.
Well, they know how to do it, right? And you know how to do it. You've packed for this trip. You've been on the plane. You've been in the team hotel. They stay right next to the stadium. They know what they're doing. The other team really does sort of run around a little bit and put a whole lot of effort into the mystery surrounding this trip. Hey, dude, I flew over there in July. I'm taking a large group of people over there this week. We're partying. We're hanging out. I did not want to go over there without having been by taking a group. I had to go over there and sort of scout it out a little bit. So I spent 2.5 days doing that myself, including scouting out the Wembley area. I went into the hotel you guys stay in and saw the second floor there and the overlooking the little arena there that day. It's lovely. All Jaguar stuff all over the hotel. I mean, it really does feel like a Jaguars home game when you're there, right?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, the area is pretty interesting. I think, you go back to 85 and Live Aid, and I remember so much about historic Wembley and what I expected when I got there. But, obviously, as you saw, they totally redone that building. It is incredible now, and it's got a beautiful hotel and a nice little shopping area around it. And then that's basically it. I mean, I'm a night crawler. I'm out looking for a good London pub or something along those lines. And there's not a ton to offer, in that area.
No, the Wembley area is awful. Yeah, I mean, anybody that's staying up there, I feel like you're really missing out. I put us in East London because I felt like that's all where all the Olympic stuff was built. The area we are, so it's all kind of new, but it's put amongst the old stuff. There's so much to see there, man. Like 5 days isn't going to be enough, especially if you're spending hours in line to get into museums and doing stuff. We did about a 45-minute wait for the Churchill Museum in July. It was the greatest thing I've ever done. I mean, that museum's the best museum in the world, and it was told to me that it would be, and it delivered. So I tell everybody that's the one thing to do. But what have you done over there that you've dug the last couple of years?
Well, the first year we went over there, we had with our owner Sean, we were invited. The radio team was to a huge party at Kensington Palace, which was just it was a black tie event, and I mean, it was pretty out of this world. I mean, trying to explain it to you, just walking through this palace, if you will, with all the art that was all over the place. And, I felt a little bit out of line. That's not kind of my deal. Again, I'm a blue-collar guy who likes a stout in an underground bar, if you will. But that particular event was cool. And, we own soccer over there. We went to a soccer game a couple of years ago. But that's it. College football's on Saturday. I'm looking, trying to find where you can get games. It's hard to get college games over there on Saturday. They just don't have that much interest in American football. But, usually we just head out somewhere. I did the thing going, downtown and what do they call it? The Sky or whatever, the the big Ferris wheel downtown.
The Eye, yes.
The
yes,
Eye.
Yes.
Yeah, the Sky, same thing. Like I said, I'm
Eye.
not big into all that stuff. But I did it. I went out and so I've seen all those, the kind of the touristy places. I did see the Winston Churchill statue. I wanted to check out that museum. I'm jealous that you've seen it and I haven't, because some of my favorite quotes of all time come from Winston Churchill.
And they're all in there, dude. Like, you absolutely, dude, carve yourself some time, make it a priority. Even if you have to miss my party or come late, go see the Churchill Museum, dude. You will not regret it. I promise you. It's that good.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know what's playing so far. Again, I kind of play things by ear here. I got a lot going on, this week. So I'll be interested to see once we make our way over there. But it's always a great trip. It is. It's different every year. There's so much to see there in London. So, for the 70 folks that you're bringing, I'm sure they're very excited about this. It's going to be a blast for them.
All right, Rick Ballou joining us here. He is Ballou 1010XL. We've done our little London travelogue with you. Incidentally, dude, I had Thomas Dolby on earlier this week. He actually lives here in Baltimore. He's a not a sports professor. He's a music professor of the arts over at Johns Hopkins. And I had him on, and I asked him to tell a Wembley story. And he starts the story by, so I'm in a helicopter with David Bowie, and we're hovering over Wembley going in to do Live Aid. And I'm like, wow, I think I invited the right guest on this week.
Man, that is awesome. Yeah, I mean, Live Aid was so great there. I mean, his performance, Queen, U2, I mean, it was just so phenomenal. And that's what's kind of cool about this building in that area is you think of some of the great rock and roll acts, lifetime, that have actually played in that building. And, it's a fun event for a game. I think your listeners will enjoy it. It is different. One thing, for instance, like on third down, I mean, everyone sits down, but on third down, they just all start clapping. They don't make any noise. There's no yelling or anything like that, but they just all start clapping. So, they do things a little bit differently over there, but yeah, it's a fun time. And, it should be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. Each year I get to go there. It's always a lot of fun.
See, you're like me, man. You're like a nerd for arenas and stadiums and stuff. Like, I feel the same way. That's one of the reasons we're doing our thing to the O2 Arena. The O2 Arena is where Zeppelin reunited. It's the only place they played in this century since they reunited, and our party's going to end where Led Zeppelin's career ended. You know what I mean? Like, right there at the O2, we're taking the cable car over. So I'm trying to find little rock and roll. Hey, Ryan Adams, not Brian, but Ryan with the R, is playing at the Royal Albert Hall. And, I'll pay £100 just to go see Royal Albert Hall, for crying out loud, or the Hammersmith Odeon, or any of the other places where, awesome rock and roll stuff happened. My son's coming over with his wife. We're going to walk Abbey Road and take, the dork picture, of the four of us walking across Abbey Road because, why not? But there is a football game going on, dude, and, I know it's been Jekyll and Hyde for your squad. Man, dude, we're 2-0. We take the ball away. We stop the run. Our quarterback's veteran enough to not make mistakes. I don't know how we're going to withstand this Yande situation, but, you guys have your own injury issues, certainly with the wide receiver, and that's a choppy group you got there coming over. I have no idea what we're going to see from Blake Bortles at Wembley at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, good luck trying to figure it out. I mean, 2 weeks ago they played just a phenomenal game. They have 10 sacks. They force 4 turnovers. They give it to Leonard Fournette, the rookie, 26 times. They run the ball. And, naturally, they're more physical at the line of scrimmage. They got it done against Houston, both offensively and defensively in the trenches. And then on Sunday in Jacksonville, for the first 30 minutes and even, about midway through the third quarter, they're still doing their part. It's a 6-3 football game. It's a nasty game where both teams are really struggling offensively, but the Jags are hanging on. They're doing their part. They get the ball right after halftime. They go 3 and out, give it back to Tennessee, and then all of a sudden they put together a drive, and then everything that could possibly go wrong did go wrong. Again, they were +4 in the turnover ratio in week 1, and they have 3 big turnovers Sunday against Tennessee. Telvin Smith did have a pick midway through that third quarter, but still that turnover ratio is -2. And then on top of that, you have 10 penalties. So many of those are either special teams on first down. So the offense is sitting, instead of 1st and 10, you're talking 1st and 25 or things along those lines. They were just never able to bounce back after self-inflicted wounds.
He is Rick Ballou. Ballou 1010XL. He's a part of the Jaguars radio team watching. You've seen a lot of bad football, Ballou, right? And you're hoping and waiting and hoping. Give me some signs of life for this team that something would go right, and I have a long plane ride home on Sunday night, which I don't think we will. I think the Ravens, I'm sold on the Ravens. They've checked a lot of boxes for me in that they're going to stay in games and they're going to beat teams like the Jaguars. No offense.
Yeah, listen, it's a run and stop the run type of situation. That's the way the Jags are going to win the game. I thought Sunday would be one of the fastest games that Jaguar fans ever did see because I thought you'd get a combined 75 to 80 carries with both teams. It was really slowed down because of the massive amount of penalties that both teams did have. But, the Jags are going to be able to win this game by challenging Baltimore, by having the Ravens defense put the extra man in the box and say to the Jags, Leonard Fournette and your rushing attack, you are not going to beat us. We're going to do our best to slow you down. If the Jags are going to pull out a victory, you're going to have to put it in the hands of their quarterback once again, who, of course, is without Allen Robinson. He's also without D.D. Westbrook. So, yesterday you go back to Sunday, you can look at some of the garbage yards and things that happened late in the game, and it becomes a situation where if you didn't watch the contest, you look at Hearns' numbers and Lee's numbers and say, all right, they did okay. But so many of those yards came late in the football game, in the fourth quarter where, Tennessee went back into a prevent defense. They were giving up the simple play to keep the clock running, keep the players in bounds. So what you can do with numbers. It can always be skewed either way. I think it's simple. If Jacksonville is able to be in this game and win it, they're going to have to give it to Fournette 22, 23, 25 some odd times and have him run the football and keep the Jags defense on the sideline. If the pressure is on Bortles to get it done in the air, then that absolutely favors Baltimore in this contest.
He is Rick Ballou. Any thoughts on the Ravens in there starting taking the ball away? Because that's probably a recipe for disaster. We like to take the ball away, and Blake Bortles seems to like to give it away, right?
Yeah, there isn't a quarterback in the league since the beginning of 2014. Now, of course, Blake, didn't start that entire season, but if you look at what he's done now, heading into 2017, no one has turned the ball over more at quarterback than Blake Bortles, and that is a huge issue. So, you look at one team that takes the ball away an awful lot, one team that has been prone to make mistakes. Bortles is going to have to simplify things a little bit. You lost a deep threat in Allen Robinson, and even though he wasn't especially fast, he did have the ability to jump. He could use his height to his advantage. Marquise Lee is still a guy to separate a little bit, but I don't like that matchup against Baltimore's secondary. So I think that's a bad combination for the Jags against a defense that has obviously been doing a great job getting the ball in the first couple of games. That's something that, the Jags have been preparing for.
Hey, look, man, I don't usually invite Jacksonville people to my party, but I'm going to make an exception for you because you're probably a New Englander at heart anyway. And it's been great being old friends with you all these years, and happy for your success down there with the Jaguars and running around with them. And you get this London action once a year. We're going to take full advantage of this. So I do hope we get together for some fish and chips and some mushy peas and a pint or two before it's all over with this weekend, Rick.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. This is a great trip for anyone who ever gets this opportunity. Football in London is a whole heck of a lot of fun. Hopefully the weather will do its part. I know you can never really rely on it. It's been known to be wet and cold in London, but it'd be nice if the weather was brilliant, as they like to say over there. And if that's the case, then what a fun time it should be. Yeah, I look forward to getting up with you on Saturday. Should be a blast.
All right, my brother, fly safe, fly well. We'll see you on the other side of the pond, and I'll certainly run into you on game day if nothing else. We're really, really excited about this, genuinely. I do a lot of things. We've both had these, concurrent careers, or we've done Super Bowls and fun events and celebrities and stuff like that. This one is, one of those ones over the last 10 years that's been on the list to do. We're really excited about doing it. Look forward to seeing you over there this weekend, Rick.
Yeah, I do as well. Thanks, Nasty, and should be a great weekend there. We'll see you then.
You got it. He is originally a chatter, but has been trapped down there amongst the palm trees and beaches and open spaces of Jacksonville, Florida, and those golf courses down there. He is Rick Ballou. Ballou, that's Ballou, 1010XL. That's the way to find him out on Twitter, and he was our late-night host at Sporting News Radio on 101 Sports back when I was in Northbrook, Illinois, Lothies, many years ago, and we've remained a nice little friendship, even though he's a Red Sox and a Bruins and a Celtics and a Patriot. He's also a Florida State grad, so he's a big Tomahawk guy down there, which didn't sit well with our ACC brethren when we were in the ACC, but now we're in the Big Ten, and no one watches Duke anymore or gets too upset anymore about Wake Forest or Florida State for that matter. You can find me out in the BuyAToyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear wherever you get your internet service, including across the pond in London. On Saturday at 11 a.m., we're going to be gathering at the Fox at XL pub. It's we have some soccer on there, delicious food there, great drinks. A couple blocks away from the Emirates Air cable car, 252. We're going to go down there and march on the O2 Arena as a Purple fan base. We are looking forward to it. If you're afraid of heights, it's even more exhilarating, I assure you. 11 a.m., all the details are up at WNST.net. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on our Facebook as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. And we hope to find you over in London. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.